So we've got dudes that are like 25 and even 30 acting like they're 13. It's bizarre. And I'm guessing that a big part of it is the psychology of a lack of power, and that leads to thinking that they can go into a fantasy world. Fantasy worlds are a big part of this problem. And that's ultimately, as we said, what the metaverse and what virtual reality and what wherever gaming goes will be intended on locking you into that enslavement. And that's what's coming. So it's not that you have to never do these things or all of these things are evil in themselves. It's that these things are not meant to control you. You need to have the self-control and the ability to cultivate virtue to where you control when those things are in your life and that therefore they're not dominating your life. Okay, so self-control. It's that simple. And you're not immediately going to have perfect self-control. Nobody does. You have to work at this for a long time. And you can't stop. It requires discipline. So when people ask me, how did you get good at debating? It wasn't a course. It wasn't an overnight. It wasn't this or that. It was consistency. It was constantly doing and being engaged in those things. And there's no way to replace reading thousands of books. People ask, how do you know all this stuff? How'd you learn all this stuff? I didn't waste my time doing dumb shit. I did waste my time doing some dumb shit. But I didn't waste enough time doing dumb shit that I could read thousands of books over the years. And you can't replace that. There's no shortcuts. So that's why when you realize as you get older that there's no shortcuts, you realize, hey, my time is actually valuable. I don't want to waste my time. And then as you get older and you own and run businesses, you realize how more valuable time is and other people's time so that you don't waste and try to monopolize other people's time. That becomes elements of professionalism that you learn as you engage in and do these kinds of things. But that's like the business side of stuff, so we're not getting into that. So other things that go along with the problems of the beta and the gamma, the simp, is not just collecting toys and this idiotic Arrested Development neoteny situation, but the anger and the rage that they feel that gets pent up, which also has to do with diet. So a lot of the problem with these young guys is not just ideas and lazy, whatever. Sloth is a big problem too. And that's what the boomers never address actual real problems. It's always like these attenuating problems. Well, they're lazy. They won't get a damn job. That's not the root of the problem. Because a lazy person doesn't sit there and master some ridiculous thing like Mario Brothers and the time runs that takes a year of doing. That's not a lazy person. That's a weirdo. But it's not lazy because they're investing ridiculous amounts of time, effort, and struggle on something retarded. That's the problem. So they're in a circle of where they want to be the alpha time run person on Mario or whatever. But that's a ridiculous genre where you don't need to be an alpha. That you shouldn't be trying to be the alpha of the time runs. I mean, that's still pathetic. Okay? So get out of that. That's for kids. Sports is for kids. All of the dudes into fantasy football and into football in general, that's kid stuff, dude. You should have grown out of that. I mean, after like high school or the one exception would be like if you play college football or something. Like after that, you should be done with sports. And sports is the biggest idol in this country. That's what nobody understands. I used to think everybody loves movies. No, they don't. They worship sports, which is the stupidest, fakest, gayest thing of all time. I hate sports so much. And I've talked about how much I hate sports for years. I can't stand it. Once I realized when I was 17, 16, I made the high school team. I was like, I'm not going to be in the NBA. I'm done with this. I don't care about this anymore. It's not fun anymore. At one time it was fun. It's not fun anymore. Why am I doing this? Okay. Sports have a role in a young person's development to teach them teamwork and skills and, confidence and stick-to-itiveness, discipline. Yeah, exactly. That's its purpose. Okay. And you can continue to do those things if you play the sport in your adulthood. That's great. But watching all of this sports is no different. It's like a little bit more masculine than the soy toy men that collect toys. Okay, at least the sports guys are a little more. But even all of that sports culture is ridiculous and a waste of time. It's all wasting your time. I mean, unless you made like $100,000 on your fantasy football team, it's a total waste of time and money. I heard a story one time of one dude that made like thousands of dollars from fantasy football, which kind of surprised me. I didn't think you could make that much money from that. But I mean, even that's just kind of like a dumb version of gambling. Fantasy football? Kyle Larson, $5. Jay, underneath the Dark Lord, who is the head servant of Earth? The Fabian Socialist, the UN, the Theosophists, the CFR, the Club of Rome, 13 Families. All of those groups essentially... I mean, I don't know that we can put them on some... I mean, they're all essentially working underneath, spiritual darkness. So it's all part of the same entity. Justice, $3. Justice 3. Hi. Thank you. Hi, what's up? Anonymous, $15. You said at the beginning of your stream, it's very true that you won't learn until you make a lot of big mistakes in life. I thought I was invincible. Everybody who's like 22 thinks they're invincible and nothing can hurt them and they're going to do everything and they're going to conquer. And that youthful delusion that you have, it's part of a process that you got to go through. So you got to fail a few times. You got to make some mistakes. I'm not telling you to do evil things. You're going to do that fine on your own. But you're going to learn from those mistakes. And that's all part of cultivating virtues. That's the point of today. And there's no shortcuts. Every soy man that we've talked about, soy toy, collecting their figurines and their Marvel men or whatever, they also want shortcuts. They want shortcuts to getting babes, getting whatever. There's no shortcuts. So finance bros telling you that you can make $1 million overnight by buying shitcoin, it's not going to work. There's no poop coin that's going to give you $1 million. And when that happens, it's like the lottery. Okay, it's not going to happen to you. So it's a waste of time and effort and money. Think about the lottery. Now, the lottery is more of a boomer thing. But I was thinking about all the people going into the lottery or to the gas stations over the years, and you see them buying their lottery tickets every week. And you think about, well, they're at wage cut job, working class stuff, and they're putting all this money every week into the lottery. How idiotic is this? Because it's just going into a black hole. It's wasteful. Now, the dollar is fiat wasteful nonsense itself, but your only way out of this would have been for all of those years to have been putting your money into just hodl Bitcoin. Hodling Bitcoin for all the years that boomers bought stupid lottery tickets would have made them the very money that they were trying to get through the freaking lottery.